Hello, everybody. I got a special treat here. I'm with Six Pounder. First off, how's it going?
Hey, everybody. How's it going, Zen?
We're gonna walk through the Last Jedi trailer. You can kind of see it here. We're gonna go frame by frame, pretty much.
Oh boy.
I've been waiting to post this since May the 4th because, like, I know this trailer came out during Star Wars Celebration, but I figured it would be fitting. Plus, it would give me time to do a lot of research, which I have done. You know very little about Star Wars.
I mean, that's not true. It's true.
It's true, which is fine because then it means that I get to treat you like the audience and our viewers. I get to treat you as if I'm explaining things to you.
Give it all
might
to
be
me.
Very eye-opening.
Now, let me preface by saying I am a Star Wars fan, but I'm not a super nerd like you are. So let's just get one thing straight. I do like Star Wars.
There is one thing here that is important to know is that you also have read Star Wars Bloodline.
I have.
And I'm trying to get you to read Aftermath.
Yeah. I will.
So, like, there is information there. And it is because of our Star Wars RPG game, Rise of the Resistance, which you can go watch. It's a series on our channel. I'm sure I'll have that as a link at the end of the video because that would be smart to do. Because of that, I've had to do a lot of research on the Resistance and everything in the Force Awakens timeline. That is canonical, and because of that, I know a lot about what's going to happen here, so I can explain it. But we're going to go from the beginning. So this is the intro to the trailer. Again, we're going to like frame by frame this. If you haven't watched it, go watch it on your own. But let's this here. So. Already, right off the bat, this is important, right? So we go from darkness to that. Looks like a starfield, right?
Yes, it does indeed.
So here's theory number one. I think this is going to be the start of the movie because we know. So this is the first time that we've ever started a saga movie, a Star Wars saga movie, that starts directly after the previous movie ended. So we're starting with Rey on the island with Luke. So there could be two things that happen. It could be that it pans down, like you get the title screen, right? The title scroll, and then it pans down to the planet like it normally does in every single saga movie. That's what people are expecting. My theory is that this is the opening right here. We get the title scroll with the starfield in the background, and it does this transition into being the Rock instead of a scroll down. How cool would that be? Huh?
My favorite thing about this whole thing is that you've analyzed the first like half millisecond of this trailer. It's great.
Oh yeah. But of course, then It turns. I think that would be a really cool way to start this. But it turns into the ground. Then we see Rey's hand, and of course, it's definitely Rey. There's nothing there.
No, it's Finn.
Important thing. You see this in the background here. That opening, that cave opening.
The cave, yeah.
I'm pretty sure that is the exact same cave at the end of the trailer where Luke turns around and goes, "The Jedi must end," or whatever. You know.
It seemed like it. Yeah, I got that impression too.
So we get the feeling that this is that same island, or the same cave, which means probably on the same island. So all that stuff we saw, and they are notorious. I should probably say this way beforehand. They are notorious for not putting the shots from the trailer in the movie, as we saw with the Rogue One trailer.
That's
and
right.
Rogue One
you
was
did
fantastic.
say that before. Yeah. Okay.
So like the most important example of that is what's her butt, Jin walking towards like the end of the pylon on
pylon
that thing, at the top, like at the dish, and she's walking towards the end, and then in the trailer the TIE fighter like popped up in front of her, which is kind of like awesome and badass, but that was not in the movie. So that's a really good example of that. Anyways, moving on, Rey. So let me just, obviously something's happening because she's breathing.
She's breathing.
Goes fades to black. We get the Lucasfilm, yada, yada, yada. So we'll just kind of push this forward. But that's Luke's voice, just so everybody's aware. Mm-hmm. We get a beautiful shot of the island there, as we normally would expect. Like, this is the island from the end of The Force Awakens.
Yeah. Yep.
Which, by the way, is Skellig in...
Skellige?
No, Skellig in Scotland? Ireland? I think it's Scotland.
It's in Scotland. Oh my.
Yeah. We get another really beautiful shot of the island. We see this here. the path. Do you see that going up and around and zigzagging back and forth?
Is that the path she walked?
I think that might be some of the path she walked, but I think this is the one that we saw her walking up towards the end of the movie. So I think they cut shots together there. Anyway, so we get a really good shot of the island.
It's beautiful.
This is interesting. So it seems to be some kind of like weird well. I mean, this is just stuff on the island, but I'm sure they're going to have weird explanations for this. So we see her.
Some like.
So he says, breathe,
spring.
just breathe. Yeah. Breathe, just breathe. She's staring out at the ocean with. Let me. Cool Superman moment. The rocks floating there.
Superman. You know what the first thing I thought of when I saw this part exactly? This reminded me heavily of when Luke was trying to raise the X-wing out of the swamp in Dagobah. It reminded me exactly like that. Like he's struggling to get it. I'm sorry.
That's perfect. I never thought about that. So that is perfect. I love that I bring you here for this kind of thing. This shot actually has a lot more information than you would think. Still has her pistol. Which means at this rate, she may not have control over the lightsaber.
I didn't even notice she still had her pistol. Huh. Okay.
That's what happens when you
watch the trailer 50,000 times.
Look, of the 30 million views, I am 2 million of it. Okay. We understand that. But cool little moment. So he says, breathe, just breathe. Now reach out. What do you, is it feel or see? Oh gosh. Oh no. Oh no. Dear. I went to the end.
Abort.
Actually, the easy way to do this is just to go add a full screen or in Premiere. Spoiler alert. That'll do, dog. Pig.
That'll do.
That'll do, pig. So does this, and then reach out. So what did you hear or what do you feel? Reach out. Reach out. Yes. Superman. What do you see? Okay, see, this is important. So we'll talk about what he says in a moment there. But obviously, all of that information is that she is on the island training with Luke.
Yep.
Perfect. Beautiful. Love that. Love that imagery. Leia here, obviously, rip Carrie Fisher.
Oh, so sad.
It's sad, but we know that she is in episode 8, The Last Jedi. She's a main predominant character. They finished filming before she died, and they were going to use her for episode 9, but it has been since confirmed by Kathleen Kennedy that she won't be in episode 9. So they're respecting the family there.
Now, did they actually finish doing episode 9, or was she partly in it?
No,
and she probably died at some point.
No, they were just.
I mean, in production,
they were just gonna. It seemed as if from what she said that they had some shots for 9 that they were going to use, but for the most part they were going to do reconstruction like they did for Tarkin.
Yeah. Tarkin.
But that I didn't think that worked. Like a lot of people apparently thought Tarkin was real, but
I disagree.
It looks so fake.
I didn't even know the guy was actually dead in real life. I
don't understand how you didn't know that. Anyways, we're here at Resistance Base. This should be familiar to your character in Rise of the Resistance because it looks a lot like this kind of stuff. We see maps of the galaxy. We see General Organa, and we see a few other people in the background. But none of those people. Oh, maybe that's a Mon Cal. Maybe an Akbar. I don't know. Probably not.
Can't tell.
Anyways,
they all look the same.
That's racist. Oh, there's another one over there.
What are those guys
Anyways,
called
continuing
again?
on. Mon Cals?
Is that what their species is called? Mon calamari.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. Okay, so this right here. Reach out. What do you see? And then we hear this from Rey.
Light.
Okay, so you hear light, but listen on. It's going to be panned on the left ear. Did you hear that?
I mean, I heard what you're talking about. I didn't hear it though.
Actually, I'm gonna because it is a little quiet for us, so I'm gonna turn it up a little bit. That should be more than enough. So we'll back that up a little bit more.
Light.
Help me, Obi-Wan.
What it is? Yes, exactly. It is Leia saying, "Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi." Pan to the left. Okay. Now she says light. Then she says, I think darkness, and then listen on the right ear. It'll be panned on the right.
She says dark, not darkness, but yeah.
Dark, yeah. So she sees, what do you see? Light. Panned on the left. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, with this shot. Now panned on the right.
Darkness.
Oh,
so
it is darkness.
You hear Obi-Wan. You hear Obi-Wan go, seduced by the dark side, on the right ear. We'll play that again so the viewers can hear it. So nice little editing there by the ILM people. Backing it up. So that is absolutely Kylo Ren's mask. When I first saw it, I thought it
was Vader's.
I thought it was Vader's at first, but you can see these pieces here, the little silver pieces. So it is Kylo Ren's mask.
Oh,
which is important because I think
Vader's. Oh no! Wait,
I
his
think
was
this
already
says
totally. I'm sorry, his was already smashed.
His was smashed too. Yeah, I think that says a lot about what the heck's going on with Kylo Ren, because he got like slashed in the face by Rey, got defeated by Rey, and we know that Kylo's not finished with his training because Snoke says, come to me and finish your training, or bring Kylo so he can finish his training or something like that. I don't remember who he's talking to. I think he's talking to I forgot his name. The red-haired guy.
Yeah,
it's like Buxley or something like that. I don't remember what it is. Brain fart. Anyway, so essentially what we see from this is that Kylo is putting aside his desire to be like Vader. So we go from wanting him wanting to be like a Sith and be like his grandfather to not wanting to be like him. That's my assumption, not wanting to be like him anymore. And obviously we see all the glass and stuff here, so he's had a bit of a rage fit again.
Like he did with the computers last time.
Yeah, and then we'll talk about him in a second, but play that again. Darth Vader.
But you can hear,
breathing.
that's what made me think it was Vader's mask. That's why I don't.
Yeah, it is a good misdirect. So you hear the Darth Vader breathing, you see Kylo Ren's mask, and then you hear seduced by the dark side on the right. So we have Help Me, Obi-Wan Kenobi with Leia. We have the Kylo Ren mask with Seduced by the Dark Side. Nice little editing. And then we hear her say, darkness. Wait for it.
The balance.
The balance. I love it.
With the
I'm going to
Jedi
back that up a
symbol.
little bit. Yeah, well, the Jedi Order symbol, yeah. So, full screen that again. So, now this is really interesting because this is all wood, but this is clearly in a cave because we have a single source of light. And then we have a series of books here. How many books are there? I would say that doesn't look like a book, right?
Is that like a bookshelf? I can't tell.
This is like a shelf, yeah, and it looks like that is propping up the books, and it looks like this is a rock. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 books.
I mean, this doesn't have to be in a cave. It could be in a goddamn tree for all we know.
It could be in a tree. There is a character from, I believe it's Rebels. I don't believe it's Clone Wars. That may be reversed, though. I don't remember that it has like bark, and he is like essentially a tree, and people believe that this might be connecting to that, which also connects this book. So this is obviously the Jedi Order symbol, which is, if you saw the Last Jedi poster, this is kind of the same symbol that she's holding up with the lightsaber, which that's all you know representative, but this is obviously a burnt book. See the burns? Right. So we can assume pretty safely that Luke had this on whatever planet he was training the Jedi at, and when the temple burns down, he got this out, or someone got this out, and he has recovered it. But we believe that this is the Book of the Wills, which is essentially a collection of stories and stuff. But from the new canon stuff, it appears that it is like the teaching of the Jedi, or the ancient teaching of the Jedi.
Okay.
So this stuff may connect to Old Republic storylines, which might be really cool if they ever explore that kind of stuff. Anyways, I'm just hoping.
See, I had no idea what this book was when I saw it. So when you told me what this was, I was like, oh my.
Oh, yeah. It's pretty sick. And we see that it's kind of like that binding is like very thick, which is interesting. Anyways, moving on. The balance. That's very important here. And then the coolest shot. And just like you see Luke like watching over her and her training with the lightsaber, which, by the way, that is a blue lightsaber, so it's his.
Yeah.
Some people were like, "Is that green saber?" I'm like, "No, that is
That's
definitely a blue."
saber, yeah.
Dang it,
Oh.
I did it again.
Oh.
It's easy to. It's because I hit down and then it puts us back there. Mask, books. Okay. So yeah, we get the coolest shot from the entire trailer, which is her training, and obviously still on the island, which is cool. So, what do you see? The light. I see light, darkness, the balance. I don't think those are what she says in sequence. Like, I think that this is cut together to be this way to make it sound like that.
You know what I just noticed? Is this what you're talking about? Where if you look at this scene, half the scene is dark, half is light, and she's just standing in the middle, which is very. I don't know. I assume they did that on purpose, but I didn't notice that.
Thank you, 6-pounder. This is exactly what I'm going with here.
My.
Did I do steps
it?
ahead of me.
Did I do it?
And this is one of those things that I don't believe people have caught on to yet, but it's something we saw JJ do very well with the, spoiler alert, the death of Han Solo in The Force Awakens, where you have the red light on Kylo, and then you have the blue light coming in from the open door where Rey is, and Kylo's basically bathed in a combination of the two, and it's this beautiful scene of the light versus the dark. And that moment you see Kylo Ren decide that, yes, I am going to go through with this, is when his face goes all dark. Red.
Yeah.
And so we've seen this kind of filmography before, and this is actually a really good example of this, of a combination of the light, the dark, and then the balance, the in-between. And you're right, Rey is in the middle. And notice how Luke isn't in the light. He's actually in the dark, but I don't think that's intentional. I don't think that's meant to say anything, but it is kind of cool that she is in the middle. But essentially what we're learning here, and we're going to talk about this, is that she's being trained not on the light or the dark, but the balance of the Force of both. And it kind of goes back to the original prequels of, Anakin was supposed to bring balance to the Force, and to some degree through proxy he may have, because he may have through proxy because of Rey, but at the same time, and what I mean by that is because of the him influencing Kylo Ren, and therefore Rey having a villain, anything that's irrelevant. What we can say is that maybe Rey is the one that's supposed to bring balance to the Force. So we'll have to see. Maybe she is the prophesied one. And what we learn here
sure ain't Anakin.
is that she's not being trained, because he says, she says the balance, and he says it's so much more. So we're gonna talk about that. Anyways, let's move on to the next shot. It's coming out on Christmas.
No!
By the way, this music here, I love the trumpets. The trumpets. We're just going to hear it. And then, I love that. We'll watch this whole part full. We have some walkers in the background. We got big desert. And this is really interesting. These ships, we've never seen these ships before. These are new. But we have seen walkers in The Force Awakens. They were in the background on Starkiller Base. And it appears that when this thing crashes, it's kind of like a terrible pilot. So it's not Poe. We know it's not Poe.
It's probably Finn.
But it's interesting. So we have like this desert scape with this crazy planet. We don't know where or what planet this is.
Utah.
Which I'm okay with. It's definitely a giant salt lake of some description. But you see these little things, these little scrapers on the ground.
Oh, yeah.
Those are what's generating the dust. So as it kicks this stuff up, it's turning into red. And by the way, again, we have another really nice filmography moment of the light and then the dark. So kind of like the darkness of the red. And it's really stunning. These ships, again, we've never really seen anything like these before. But I believe what they're doing, if I back it up, because we see the walkers and they're flying straight at them. I believe what they're doing is creating a smoke screen for some kind of battle. So
like
we can assume that these
it?
are, Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Or other ground forces. So we can assume that these are resistance forces, which is cool because they're kicking up the red. It looks really pretty.
Yeah.
We'll continue on. Spoiler alert, he's in a coma at the moment. He's in some kind of Bacta tank. We do know that he gets up. So Finn will be fine in the movie, but he'll probably come back with a vengeance, as he said at Star Wars Celebration.
Oh, go back for a second.
Yep.
I saw somebody. I didn't see what it was, but apparently the red text says something on the left.
It is in Arabic, so you probably could translate it.
I didn't look. I just saw that somebody posted something that you can kind of read this, but I didn't see what it was, so I'll have to look into that, and I forgot.
It's likely his condition. That's what I'm going to say.
Okay.
But it is all in Arabic, so or Arabic, however you want to pronounce it. So it is readable, because you can translate that pretty easily. We have Poe and BB-8. I don't think... Yeah, nobody in the background is important there. This person's wearing, like, resistance garb.
It's like Hoth gear or something.
No, it's not Hoth gear. It's kind of like what they were wearing in Rogue One. Like that kind of, like...
I guess it is, yeah.
Like,
I mean, it looks like Hoth gear in the sense of the style, not so much the color, obviously. But
yep. We got the resistance phoenix, the bird. That's fine. Okay, moving on. They're running towards something. And by the way, the lights are dimming and stuff. So they're under attack. So we have either a resistance ship or resistance base. I'm leaning on ship under attack. The reason I'm going to lean on ship is because of this docking bay. Right? You see the door here. So it clearly leads outside. Still might be a base. I'm convinced it's a ship.
It could be
actually,
base. I mean,
I'm going to say base. I'm leaning on base here. Another important bit of information. We have an A-wing over on the left-hand side, which is cool. We haven't seen A-wings since original trilogy or the prequels. Poe's ship, which is like, that's a pretty big explosion. It's gone, Jim. It's dead. his cool X-wing is now gone. And then that's obviously a TIE fighter being blown up by... Wait, hold on.
Was that one of the...
Did you see...
Is somebody flying out of it?
The shot is coming from...
The other
So
direction.
this is going backwards. This is going forwards. It's coming from down below to the right over here. That's where the shot came from. The Millennium Falcon's up over here. So someone shot at it. Do we see what that ship is? It's a TIE fighter.
Another TIE fighter.
Oh, interesting. So they hijack a TIE fighter, or do they? Does this TIE fighter shoot at...
It's the same color. Yeah. That's weird.
So it shoots at...
That could be just an error in the trailer.
Oh. No, I don't believe it is. I believe that this TIE fighter...
Start from the beginning. Oh, okay. It gets hit by the red.
This TIE fighter has a red shot.
No, it gets hit by
taken
red.
out. It's taken out by red. Which may be from... But the Millennium Falcon doesn't have red shots. So it's obviously taken out from something, and then the TIE fighters are on it.
The shots came from the direction of the Millennium Falcon, but I don't know what color the Millennium Falcon's weapons are.
I believe they're green.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought they were green.
So we see that these are First Order... Let me back that up a little. You see a little splash of red on some of the pixels there. So these are the Special Forces TIE fighters, which are way more badass.
Yeah, those aren't good in RPG as well.
Yep. So now notice the background, the backdrop here with the mountains.
Very moody.
I believe this is that same desert planet with that salt bed where the ships were on.
Okay.
But she has the lightsaber. So this isn't on the island anymore. She has the lightsaber, and she is booking it towards something. Like, I don't know. That's not a face of I'm training. This is a face of
going into
I'm
battle.
running towards something. Not I'm running away, but I am running towards something. Yeah. Then we see Kylo. He's got a scar from being hit in the face. No longer has his mask, which kind of confirms. Also, we see the background. Some people I saw were saying that this looks like the fire, the Jedi Temple on fire scene, but because of the colors, but it's not, because he has the scar. So we know that this is in the future. He seems pretty pissed off. We don't see another lightsaber. Or no, we do. We do see a light right there.
It could just be his.
No, because we see the red, and then we see a little bit of blue, and then we see a light from the right hand or his left hand side.
I can't
just coming
see.
from whatever over
I
here
can't
is.
tell.
Yeah, it's hard to tell for you. I do believe there is another lightsaber in his eye, which means he is facing down. This is, the scene from the flashback where Luke puts his hand on
R2, yeah.
R2. This is like directly right before it. So he kneels down, boom, and then if we connect the two shots, he would then it would switch shots, and he would then put his hand on R2. But yes, that is the Jedi Temple burning. A ton of destruction over here of some description.
Where is the Jedi Temple again?
We don't know where he was training the recruits.
Oh, okay.
But my assumption, because they are gone from it, it almost looks like he walked up to it and that happened. Or maybe he fled from it, grabbed the books that he could, and then turns and puts his hand on R2. Which is interesting. But yeah, that's definitely the temple. So we're going to get flashbacks in this movie, which is great, because I want to see what happened there.
More. We need more.
Now, this shot and this shot are not connected. Some people were saying they were. It's not connected. This is from when Poe's X-Wing blows up. And then we have Captain Phasma. Ooh, that was a good, well-lit shot. So we have First Order Stormtroopers. We have a captain because he has the shoulder thing. We have Phasma coming through, doing her thing. Okay, so we assume that they're attacking the base then, and Phasma shows up. Now, these are very similar to the big ships are very similar. By the way, A-Wing right here. You see the A-Wing?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
These are similar to the Nebulon B freighters from, or like frigates rather, from the original trilogy, except they don't have like the whole back end and then the thing at the back. They appear to be a bit smaller, and they have some kind of, you see the like bubbles at the end here? They appear to be some kind of like turret. So it's got a bubble turret. It has some kind of deck and several weapons, and then maybe a few decks down this way. But this is like, to scale, that looks like the Millennium Falcon. And obviously the scale is really well put here with the X-Wing. So these are actually fairly small compared to a Nebulon B front of the cruiser. But these are new. So we have and blue and red. So these are definitely Resistance. They're new. Back that up. Lots of TIE fighters. So we're going to get a space battle.
Lots.
A big space battle. Notice how the X-Wings are shooting red. So there was definitely an X-Wing with that Millennium Falcon then. Because you see the shot of red.
Oh, yeah.
So it shoots red. The TIE fighters are shooting green.
And it's also possible that they just changed the weapons on the Millennium Falcon, which is, entirely
That's
feasible.
possible too, but I don't think so. Nice little shot of a shot hitting the shield, I believe is what that was. Yeah, bouncing off the shield. And then we have the TIE fighters come in, which that is just beautiful. Like some really good shots there. And then again, we get the Special Forces TIE fighters. The rest of these appear to be normal. So we get a mix. We get a good shot of the bubble turrets. Good shot of those in general. And notice how that X-Wing does not have orange on it, which, because it's an up-close shot like that, it's probably Poe, but it's not Poe's X-Wing. And then
it's time for the Jedi to end.
Oh, that's still. So again, we see the cave. It possibly is that same, but the problem here that I'm seeing. Oh, actually, you see the wood? So this is definitely that is definitely wood. You see how it's gnarled?
I guess
it's like twisted.
Maybe.
So this is not a cave. This, you are right, is a tree. So he is within a tree. Whether or not it's on the island, it looks like the foliage is the same.
He's with the one-eyed raven in there. Gotta be.
We could cross over. We got, it appears to be Rey's staff right there.
Okay, yeah, yep.
But this does not appear to be Skellig. So I do not think that this is the same opening as before, but it might be. The only reason I say that is because the angle, I'll show you at the in just a moment, the angle. Also, that might be a book laying up against there, but this is definitely inside of a tree, which means it's not necessarily on the island anymore. Might be the same planet, maybe not the same island. So let me back this up just a bit. Okay, so you see what I'm saying is, whoops. So you see how this looks out and there's no ground here? Hell, even if they flipped this, if they rotated it, I guess it would be that way. So if this is that cave, this shot is flipped, or the shot with Luke is flipped, because this is where it goes up, whereas on the end of the trailer, you see how the land goes up this way. So if you were inside the, you wouldn't actually be able to see. So this actually may just be a different planet.
Yeah, or it could just be a different part on the island,
So good.
I love the music.
The music is fantastic.
So good.
The artwork is really good. I think the red is very intentional. They're probably going to go, they went yellow, red, and they're probably going to go blue for the next one, or green. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, so go ahead.
I was going to say, do we know the title for the last movie yet? Or is it not
nope,
released?
They haven't come up with one. They probably have an idea of what it's going to be, but they probably still don't even know.
Okay.
Yeah. So The Last Jedi. So we have a few questions to answer, of which we polled the last time I put up a video asking for questions, because we're going to do this. First question, who is the Last Jedi? The Last Jedi is Luke. When Luke is episode 6, when he's with the dying words of Yoda, what we hear Yoda say is, Luke, when gone am I, the last of the Jedi you will be. Which it's very, like, you can't really deny that is not an intentional thing that they've done here. And by the way, the reason we believe Luke is the last Jedi is because Luke tried to train a new generation of Jedi and it didn't work again. So we know that he knows that it's not working. We know that he has access to the Book of the Wills, if that's what it is, which means he knows the history of the Jedi, which means he knows that this never works. It's just a cyclical thing of the Sith coming and trying to destroy the Jedi, and the Jedi having issues, and then it just happens all over again, and Jedi falling to the dark side. So we think that the plot of this movie is that Luke, especially with his lines at the end, the Jedi must end, means that he knows that the Jedi don't work. Being all light-sided just means that someone is going to want to go to the dark side. So why not use both? And I think that is the plot of the movie, is he's going to train Rey to use both the dark side and the light side. And probably Kylo is going to only want to use the dark side. And that Snoke is going to be training him to use the dark side, and that is where Rey is going to get her power. And then my thought is that Kylo is going to be like, oh wait, why are you so powerful? You're using the dark side. You're also using the light side. And then he's going to go to Snoke and be like, what the heck, man? And Snoke's going to be like, no, you can't do that. That's against and then he's going to kill Snoke. That's my thought. Yep.
Okay.
We also know Andy Serkis, who plays as Snoke, did the mocap for him, and that apparently was wearing makeup in the filming of The Last Jedi. So that means that they're not CGing it all in. So that's going to be interesting to see how that ends up panning out. So that's the first question, is who's the Last Jedi? It's Luke. And we believe Rey is being trained to be a gray Jedi, and that is the future of this trilogy, is to deal with the gray Jedi, and which I think would be way cool. And I'm really looking forward to that, because I think that's a cool idea. Like, even back to the Old Republic stuff with, I've totally forgot his name.
The main Old Republic?
Yeah, crap. Why did this is like, people are going to hate me for that. No, Tyrannus.
Um,
You know who I'm talking about.
I know. I have his figurine for Christ's sake. What is it?
Yeah, dude with the mask. Why am I brain farting? He's like a Kylo Ren wannabe.
Yeah.
Actually, no, Kylo Ren's him wannabe. Anyways, you know who I'm talking about.
We'll have to
it's
put an
gonna come back
annotation
to me
or
in a minute.
something.
It's going to come back to me. I'm really embarrassed that I forgot that. But it would kind of be along the lines of that for the Great Jedi, which is cool. Then, second question, who is Snoke? We don't know. This trailer tells us nothing. But the fact that it tells us nothing means that we actually have some kind of information that they're trying to hide there. I still believe he's Darth Plagueis. We shall see. I think that would tie it back to the original, or rather the prequels, which would work really well. We'll see how that ends up working. And then just another question, like what the heck's going on with Kylo Ren, which we kind of answered already, which is that we believe he no longer wants to be like his grandpa, his uncle. Grandpa.
No, grandfather.
Whatever it is.
We got
Look,
there.
man, my brain's not working. We know that he doesn't want to be like him anymore, or that's what we can assume, which is why he destroys his mask, and he's kind of pissed off that he got defeated by this noob. He got owned by a noob, and no longer, he wants to go down a different path. So this is going to be a darker movie. There's one last thing that I wanted to do, which is right at the beginning of this trailer. We'll just watch it again. Listen to the music. Actually, it'll be pretty much right after the sting, which is a little like this. When it starts playing the music, you're going to hear two themes. The Force theme, which is this.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you are going to hear this. Listen. You hear the little like in the background, which is her theme. And it's going to do it again.
Just breathe.
And then here comes hers.
Now, reach out.
They're like do 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 do. So we have the Force theme and we have Rey's theme. Now, before this is a perfect way to end this because it's the way we started this. Before we ever had anything on The Last Jedi or knew what the movie was called or anything, people came up with the idea that the Force theme and Rey's theme harmonize together, and they put them together and it sounds incredible, especially when you do the Force theme and then you put her theme right next to it. And John Williams is the secret sauce of Star Wars. He always has been, and he's a massive genius. So the fact that Rey's theme harmonizes with the Force theme, as we just heard there, and goes very well together, is not a coincidence. And I believe that that is going to be the main theme of this movie, is that the themes match together and blend, but so do the light side and the dark side. And I think that that was all intentional from moment one when they decided to make episode 7, 8, and 9. And I think that right there, if that doesn't excite you for this movie, then you're not human. You need to go check your pulse.
It's so good.
That was my final thought. Is there any, like, this trailer is sick. We're going to look at the rest of the trailers when they come out, but we learned a lot, except it was very little that we learned. So all fairly interesting. Lots of theories being put out there. We'll see what are correct when the movie comes out and we do like a full rundown of it. But do you have any final like thoughts on this?
No, I got to watch it a few more million times to catch up with you though. So let me get on that.
Final suggestions, go read Star Wars Bloodlines. Fantastic book. It's kind of it's a setup to The Force Awakens. It's all about Princess Leia. It's actually fantastic. You would suggest it too, right?
Oh yeah.
You
I mean, I read. Yeah. I mean, I'm going to read the, what's the name of the other book you told me to read? Cataclysm?
The Aftermath trailer.
Aftermath. Yes. Okay.
Or trilogy. So there's Aftermath, Life Debt, which has to do with Han Solo and Chewbacca freeing the rest of the Wookiees. And then there's Empire's End, which I have not read yet. And that is what I'm going to get to here shortly. So yeah, I think if you read those 4 books, you'll be super prepared going into The Last Jedi because you'll know everything up until The Force Awakens, which is exciting. But this movie starts right after The Force Awakens, so there probably won't be an in-between book there, which I'm looking forward to. Thank you guys very much for watching. If you guys have any comments to anything we said or any ideas that we sparked in your head, put them in the comments below, and we will kind of look at them, discuss them in the next trailer rundown, I'm sure. But we shall see you guys next time.
See you guys.